Hello, and welcome to the Cancer Journey podcast. I'm Alicia,
And I'm Sherry Ann.
and we always start with our PESH. So, Sherry Ann, do you want to start first?
Sure. Okay, let's get into my body. So physically, I am at 8.3, emotionally, 8.7, spirit, 9, hope, 9.3, and my word is real. How about you?
For me, physically, I am a 7. Emotionally, I am a 7. Spiritually is a 7.5, and hope is an 8. And my word is rolling.
All
Okay,
right, so rolling.
rolling. That is my word
Let's,
today.
okay, so let's roll right on in. And the topic for today that we want to tackle is the aches, part of a subgroup of the aches that you would experience during a cancer journey. And this one is true like everything else. It's lifetime. It's life, full life aches, and it's money. We're going to talk about money.
Yeah. It's a, subject that most people, especially in the past, have said, like, don't talk about your money with people, right? Like, don't reveal your finances to everyone and, keep the numbers private. Still, we're going to keep those private. But I just think it's important to have the conversation about what challenges we're experiencing because it's such a taboo conversation, but we don't really know what's going on with each person unless we talk about it. And we don't really know if there are solutions that we can share with one another until we really talk about it. So we're just going to go there. We're going to talk about those like aches and pains that come with money and finances when you're on a cancer journey.
Yes. And just in general, I think that people don't normally talk about money because they don't want to be judged. They don't want to be shamed for whatever space they're in. And so there's a lot of performing and posturing when it comes around to finances. And I mean, while we don't want to directly talk about it, there are some people who do. And then we have special words for them. Yeah, pompous, whatever. But there's that silent kind of message of, I have money and I want to show you that I do, because I think that if I have more money, then you're going to value me more. And so I think that's when all the designer labels come out from inside the clothes to outside the clothes. So it's like, hey, I'm valuable, but I don't know when money was equated to value.
Right. Or the people who feel like they're invaluable because they can't flash their money like that. And people who feel like, there's that huge dichotomy between like you have money or you don't. And if you don't have money for some reason, that's lower than everyone. Or, and it doesn't really speak to what you can do or how smart you are with your money or any of that. I mean that, so just getting that label right off the top, and let's take it off. It does not matter how much money you have. While it does, in your personal life, day to day, how you're spending your money, absolutely personal. But it does not equate to your value is really
Yes.
what we want to say.
Yeah. And I love putting that straight off the front, because then you can go, okay, let me let that down.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember bringing it back to the cancer journey in one of my public workshops way back when, but it really stuck with me, with this woman. And we're just talking about, what is it like to be diagnosed in the beginning of a cancer journey? And she raised her hand and she said, the money woes are almost as devastating, if not more, than a cancer diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went, what? Because here we were opening up and talking about that taboo subject of money and all that goes with it. And then bringing it to the cancer journey, which is like, wow, I'm devastated with a cancer diagnosis, and how that conjures up everything else that maybe you've been kind of pushing away, or that have been worries of yours, and it just adds into that cancer diagnosis.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not just my health, right? When you get the cancer diagnosis, and which is the big question mark, but also another big question mark is what's this going to cost me? Like, what does this
Right.
mean for my life? And just the unknown that comes with the money part too is so, because I mean, money is not judgmental. It goes to every single part of our lives. It touches everything we do, and fortunately, unfortunately, a lot of the things that we view around us, we view them as a cost. And so when cancer does come into your life, especially when, you know are you in a relationship, or are you single, or what else is going in your life? Like, are you in school? Do you have children? Like, there's so many other questions that come to mind when you're thinking about that, right? Like, I can just imagine like being in the swirl and like getting a diagnosis and being like, okay, well, first of all, am I going to be able to work so I can continue to make money, or am I going to be able to um do any of these things? Like, can I pick up my kids from school, or do I have to hire someone to do it for me now? um
Right.
there's
Does my source of income go away?
Mhm.
Or what net safety net is there to catch me?
Yeah.
And how am I going to pay for treatment? How's my insurance? I mean, it's the things that we don't talk about or think about, and then all of a sudden here comes this challenge. And
Hmm.
it's one of the biggest challenges people face if they've been given a cancer diagnosis. And so it's all the things that start piling up. And that's after the call, right? The call that says, oh my God, am I going to die? So
Hmm.
then we start, stealing up and going, okay, I've got to pull myself together. I've got to be strong. I've got to, then all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, I got to get all my ducks in the row. Okay. So can I afford this? What's my insurance look like? What's my lifestyle? What's going to change? Who's going to take care of the kids? Okay, do I have to go back to work part-time, or can I even go back to work? Or, it's just this huge swirl that happens in initiation that we don't even talk about.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like we talk about this role so much, but money is just so present. It really is. And so, especially in this podcast right now, it's something we don't want to neglect, right? It's something we want to talk about, and talk about, like, if you have insurance, will the insurance cover it? Or there's just so much that comes up in that swirl that, like, I can feel the freneticness and the, like, okay, well, this and then this costs money and then this will cost money, and how do I start saving now, and what do I have saved, and if I have a retirement plan, can I pull from my retirement plan early, or something like that? Like, it's just, wow, that's just, ooh,
Right?
my heart's
It's
racing
it's
now just
it's
thinking about
it's
it.
it's devastating. It's heavy. You're already traumatized. Let's just say it. The first moment you hear cancer, that's traumatizing.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then now it's like, okay, now I have to deal with this. And not only do you need to make a decision on the treatment that's supposed to save your life or cure you or make you better, you have to figure out all these other pieces.
Hmm.
And so the stress, the amount of stress, which I think is at the core of any disease. So if you already had been worried about money, here's an added on to. If you weren't, here's something to start worrying about now. So I love when you said, what's my savings?
Hmm.
Do I have a savings? Do I have to like blow my whole It's just a whole big change. And money is at the core of that.
Yeah. So, Sherry Ann, you're in a workshop. You're leading the workshop. You have someone like this participant that you had who said, the financial woes are so devastating that they're even more so than the diagnosis. What do you say to them?
We totally get them in the moment of that emotion, because I could see where the mind swirl just takes off, and
Hmm.
it's the future and what's going to happen and what if and what if and what if, and that's not helpful in the moment where we've got to get grounded.
Hmm.
So what I would do is, and I can't remember what I did back then, but we'd bring her back to the present moment, the only place you have power. and get her to be connected back to herself. Now, that can be really hard when the swirl is really frenetic, right? So it's just like, let's just get to what we can get. Let's feel what we can feel. And just know in this moment, this very moment, what's true. And that could be, my kids are safe. My family's intact. I'm dealing with the cancer right now. I'm here and I'm supported.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one,
Mm-hmm.
because if you're alone and you don't have support and then you're swirling, it's like, where do I go? What do I do? So coming back to, if you don't have family or friends or a team that's there to help you, where do you go? And so what I love to say is the Cancer Journey Institute is here also. And while we're not a nonprofit, there are people that we partner with. And sometimes we have our coaches. We ask that our coaches all take at least one pro bono client a year. And so that can help, but it's not enough. We don't have enough coaches. So we partner with other cancer organizations and entities. We've been doing more of that recently to a huge extent, but getting them back into feeling like they're not doing this all by themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can just imagine this person in a workshop with other people too, right? And again, money, taboo subject. So the minute they bring it up and saying it so eloquently that just how devastating it is, regardless of if every participant in that room feels the exact same way or not, it triggers something in everyone too. So I think it's really important as the leader, as a coach, to know that we can go there. Again, we're not here to give advice and tell you how to spend your money. That's not that all in our wheelhouse. We don't do that. We don't do that all. We're not financial advisors. But we are real people who have had very similar experiences and know people in our larger community, like you said, the Cancer Journey community, who have had to navigate those things too. So we do have resources, and for that person who is swirling in that moment, there are so many options, right? But when we're in the initial swirl, we can't see any of them. We're just like,
exactly.
What if? And we see the worst case scenario. And so it becomes really, really hard to see past those money woes and to even just past the like, it's not even about the money woes at a certain point, right? It's just about the emotional like fear that comes
Yes.
with the word money and
Yes.
cancer.
Yes. Yeah, you got it. It's the fear stories, because there are resources out there, and we do partner with organizations who know what these resources are, so we can always direct them to that. And it's not going to pay for everything on a cancer journey, but there are people who clean your house for free. There are practitioners who also in their practices have embodied the generosity and the gifting stance. So there are mechanisms and resources out there, but you're right. It comes down to the emotions. It's like, who am I? What can I trust about myself to get me through this?
Yeah. And what really matters right now for me, right? Like, it's not just, do I have the money to take care of my kids? But it's really that, like, I want my kids to be taken care of. That doesn't always mean that it's a financial promise that is what you need in that moment. It can be just having someone in your family being available to take care of them, pick them up from school. I think especially when it comes to money, and because again there's this whole don't talk about it thing, we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it with the people in our life. And it's not talking to people and saying, I need money, can you help me? It's saying, what would this money that I think that I need give me? And is there someone in my life who is able to help support me, help support my kids? Maybe one of your friends, one of your family members is a financial advisor and can literally help you through that, or they have a really good one that they could recommend for you,
Right.
or they have an established relationship. There is I think we're so often scared to, first of all, ask people about money, but even just ask our network about anything. And we're not always
Right.
asking for gifts. It's a conversation about what can we do for each other? How can we support each other as we're moving forward to really build up your own community? I mean,
Right. Right.
we at the Cancer Journey Institute are a very loving, helpful, like we only want to improve the community feel that you can have here. Um, but your own network is there for you. They're already kind of baked into your life too, and they love you dearly. And there are definitely just more conversations to be had where you're like, okay, I really want to get real. I'm not asking you for money. Let's start there. I'm asking for more support, and maybe I don't know what that looks like right now, but I'm going through this hard time, and I would love to talk to you about how maybe you can help me, maybe how I can help you.
Which is a very vulnerable place, just like money.
Yeah.
And so it's almost as if the money conversation is the first barrier. But once you can get past that, and when you were talking about, it's more of what you're trying to create. Because money is just a piece of paper. It's just commerce. But it is that exchange. And you can do an exchange without a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the gathering of the community that you're talking about. But it is about you being vulnerable to have these conversations that really matter.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe you haven't ever had the conversation with your community, or asked maybe a coworker or a stranger that you've just met, being really brave and courageous to go, I need some help.
Mm-hmm.
And not in this leechy, give me something way, but it's like, I'm in a predicament
Mm-hmm.
and I know that I can't handle it all by myself, or I'm really lonely and I just need somebody to sit here and talk to me and hold my hand maybe, or not even hold my hand, but sit and talk to me. But it's that first step into, I'm not alone in this world. I know that I need to open myself up to allow others to come in and even ask, because nobody knows what
Right.
I need except for me. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
same with the doctors. You can't go in going, fix me. And the doctor has to say, so what's going on? Because they don't have a view into your body. X-rays are one thing, but it's like, they don't know what you feel.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know where it hurts. They
Yeah.
don't know the anxiety that you're feeling. It's the communications.
Mm-hmm.
And that's being brave
It is
to
being really
communicate.
cool. Yeah, and it's being, like you said, vulnerable, and knowing that there's more to be shared than just financial value or someone literally doing something for you. Like, it's not always a big task, it's not always a big gift, it's not always a huge lift. Like, just being there to hear them out, to sit there and listen. Or if someone's asking you, like, I need advice. And I think that best comes from your personal community and the people that you choose to trust, because I mean, your coaches are not here to give you advice. We are here to let you know what we've done in the past and support your journey forward. But coaches aren't here to give you that sort of advice. Um, the people in your life and wanting to know what their perspective is or their thought process, or if they even knew someone who's gone through a similar situation, what did they do? They're the right people to be connecting with, especially when you feel and and you trust them because you've had experiences with them that allow you to do that. Those are the right people to go to. Now, the Cancer Journey Institute as a community, we're always going to be here for you. And while we have a lot of free options so people can really like get a taste of us and tune in with us, especially in our workshops, I completely understand that a lot of our offerings are paid. We have our programs that are for professional and personal growth. We have individual coaching. They're paid. They are. And we are a for-profit company because we need to start somewhere. And by doing the work that we've done over the last decade plus, we continue to build those partnerships and relationships, like Sherry-Ann was talking about earlier, um, that allow us to bring cancer journey coaching into institutions that support these groups of people at different stages in their cancer journey, that are able to bring some of this work, some of this heart that we offer in a lot of our paid workshops and offerings, um, to people who maybe they can't afford a time or they don't see the value in it yet, because it's hard to buy in when you don't know or trust us quite yet.
Right. And we're that step before the money conversation, I think. I mean, yes, I mean, we are a chargeable service. And where we really shine, what we do the best is we work with your mindset, your spirit, and your emotions around all of this. So yes, we know one of the aches is money, and it's very scary to talk about, to look at, and we'll hold your hand while you sit there looking at your finances, because that's the best place to start. It's scary for especially people who are just like, I don't know, I have money in the bank. I go to the ATM and I just hit balance. Then I know how much I have. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's the desire to go unconscious. And so we sit there with you as you get conscious to know exactly what's real. And then together we can um, find the resources.
Mm-hmm.
We know that you know more than you do. And so we help bring that out, and we guide, but we don't tell.
Mm-hmm.
We're walking beside you with all that you know and all that you have access to, along with some resources that we can throw in every now and then. But really, it's about you as the individual, and how do we get you to feel powerful in this particular ache called money?
Yeah. Yeah.
And whether it's money devastation, like, oh my God, I have none, or okay, I just really want to feel secure here. We can do both of that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love that you said that, like, we don't tell you what you're gonna get, right? Because it's gonna be different for everyone. Everyone's journey is completely different and very variable. But even in that conversation with like how you talk to the people around you or how you start to approach different parts of your life, right? Because we're living our full lives, it's really, really easy to be siloed in. You see only this. You only see what you see. You don't see like this very abundant life that you have around you because it's here. It's so natural to you. And you're like, yeah, that's my friend from college. And that's like my brother's wife. And like, you generally know how everyone lays out in your life and who people are and what resources you have possibly. But what you do and how you do it and how you have that conversation, that can be something that we can help with. Like
Hmm.
to bridge that gap. And I think that's one of like the hardest pieces, right? Because so many people want to talk about what what is this? What do I want? Where do I want to go? Even those things, but how you get there, how to process, how to assess and make that connection, it seems so trivial and so small, but it's actually huge. Because otherwise, if you're not talking about how you want to make those connections and what you really want and learning, being open to learn how to get what you want and how to, say the words, um, you're not gonna get there. You're going to continue to stay here very comfortably and
Right.
think that the solution is out there somewhere that you can't see it just because you can't see it right away. But actually, instead of doing like XYZ plus some steps to figure out what it is, it's like, oh, but actually I have a cousin who, I mean, I'm not super close with them, but they might know something. They might know how to help me. How do I reconnect with them and figure out how do I tap them for that? And that's something that people are sometimes like, oh, well, I don't know them that well, so like I'm just gonna leave them alone. It's like, no.
Right, right, right. I love the way that you started off with like abundance, because who we are, whether you have a big network or not, there is abundance of things available to you. And with the coaching, we can figure that out and do the steps to allow yourself to have the conversation, to check something out and maybe find out that that's not the path, and
Mhm.
then you fall down, but you have a coach to help pick you back up and say, okay, not that one, but I'm still here, not gone. And what else is there? What's
Mhm.
more? And so that feeling like you're tackling the world alone, especially around money, um, recedes. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's like going through a dark tunnel and you're like, this is really scary. I don't know what's there. I don't know what my resources is. I'm afraid some boogeyman's going to jump out in the dark and get me. It's like, but if you had a friend, if you had someone who was skilled or just someone that was there for you 120%, you're like, okay, we're doing this. Let's go.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's so less scary. It's so less confronting.
And I think that even though coaching is paid, I mean, everyone, if you, especially if you've never experienced cancer journey coaching, everyone gets complimentary sessions so you can feel what it feels like. But I mean, really, we say it takes multiple sessions for your coach to get to know you better, for you get to know your coach better, and to, have more that you share with them and see how it goes, right? It's not just one and done. The coaching happens in between sessions. So we do recommend ongoing coaching. And again, it does have a cost. But the question really then becomes, what is your health worth to you?
Right.
I
And
mean, it
health
is.
being
Mhm.
not just the physical health, it's your mental health, it's your emotional health, it's your spiritual health.
Yeah.
All of it interconnected.
Mhm.
Can't separate them.
And when we neglect one of them and we allow stress to take over, I mean, stress is a known aggravator of the system. So going through a cancer journey, already stressful, period. And completely understandably. Um, But when you continue to add more stressors or be in a state of constant stress while you're already on your cancer journey, um, as a patient, as someone who's metastatic, even if you're a survivor, right? Or even a caregiver, having maintained stress and that amount of constant stress without unloading it in some way or processing it in some way, it can only perpetuate some sort of illness internally. It's not always
Right.
cancer, but there is so much that we hold on to. And by being so constricted, you release more cortisol, which is the stress hormone in your system. And so your body cannot properly function. It can't, do normal things like digestion is one of the first things to go when your cortisol is high. And it makes it so hard to heal your physical self when
Right.
that mental, emotional, spiritual is in turmoil.
Right. It exacerbates whatever was there.
Yeah.
And we know that we're at the moment a diagnosis happens, we're stressed. And so we're trying to be there to harness the, what am I trying to say? Not harness the good, but to try to bring the stress to the forefront so that we can actually deal with it versus push it down and pretend that it doesn't exist.
Hmm.
And then thereby we're working on the healing. But what I really want to say, so I guess this is my takeaway, is that you got to start somewhere. And here is a really incredibly safe place in the Cancer Journey Institute. And we are giving you a free session. So take advantage of that. And at least if you're finding yourself at a point of, I don't know what to do, I just need something, I just need to talk to someone, you can talk to Kathy, our community concierge. That doesn't count as a coaching session. And then she can put you in touch with a coach that will work for you, perhaps. And then there's a coaching session. So there's more to learn in a conversation about the cancer journey, but it also is a learning about you.
Hmm.
And so the learning and the releasing, just saying things out loud in a safe place begins a new pathway of healing. So
Yeah.
I'd say sign up for a workshop, a call, a, a, a coaching session. a gifting coaching session.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
and my word then is generosity.
my takeaway is that a cancer journey is hard enough. We don't have to hide things that are important. Like money is important. It is really important. And I hope you know that we see that here at the Cancer Journey Institute, and we are working toward a future where more people who are on a cancer journey don't have to, invest large amounts into receiving this community and being a part of this community and getting more out of us. And I just want like everyone to experience the like ease that comes with life, with having a cancer journey coach in your life. And my word is a phrase, and we choose the future.
I want to end with this question of, what is your health worth?
And if you have
Thank
an
you.
answer for it, you can absolutely put it in our comments. You can shoot us an email. But we'd love to hear what your answers are.
So thank you for being with us today. Have a lovely rest of your day. And remember that you're more powerful than you realize.
We'll be back next week. Have a good one.